And we're live. Hi, Milton. Thank you so much for joining our webinar. So excited to have you here.
My pleasure.
Just before we get into it, I just want to do a brief introduction of myself. I'm Milton as well, and then we'll get down into the webinar for today, which is about proven strategies for acquiring 1 million customers in Africa. Yes, it's possible because Milton here has done it before with Selar. So yeah. Great. So my name is Tolani Thomas-Allinson. I am the founder of Halisi Consults. We're a business development consulting company. We help startups and medium-sized enterprises launch, grow, and thrive through our business planning services, our investor readiness services, and also our marketing services. So yeah, that's who I am, and that's what I do at Halisi Consults. Milton here is an experienced marketing expert. He's dedicated to helping businesses grow. With a decade of experience, he has been able to play a key role in the success of companies like Selar, where he was the CMO, as Chief Marketing Officer. Under his leadership, Selar was able to grow to 1 million users across Africa, which is a big deal. And he's also the founder of Blurp. Founder, right?
Yeah, founder. Yeah,
Yeah, brilliant. So, Nielsen, I am so excited to have you here. You're
my
a rock
pleasure.
star. Your work speaks for itself, and your reputation precedes you. So, I'm hoping that we learn a lot from you today. So, get ready for my questions.
That's
All
fine.
right. Before we get into that, I would just want to, ask, a bit of background. If you want to talk about yourself, what you've done so far, and how you got to this point in your journey. Like, what
Okay.
what did they feed you as a child that made you so brilliant? We want to know
uh,
what the source is.
yeah. So I think I had a good foundation while I was growing up.
Yeah.
I literally started. I had my own iPad when I was like 14,
Oh, nice.
and yeah, I was exposed to tech like at quite an early age. I used to program. I studied computer science and computer engineering in school. So I'm very vast when it comes to tech. But I got into marketing when I was still in university. I wrote an ebook. It was a digital product. Then I was 16, 17 and sold it online. In a week, I made like $100. So I was like,
Wow.
interesting. So people can actually make money online. So I got into marketing to make money from the internet, honestly speaking.
Yeah.
And that's just been the journey since then. And right now, lead marketing at Seller and also have my own startup blurb. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing stuff. So, to start with the big question, how is it possible that one can grow through to 1 million paying users in
Mm-hmm.
Africa over such a short period of time? Because I remember when Seller was founded, I think it was somewhere around the pandemic or something.
Mm-hmm.
I remember when Seller started, and from now till date, a lot of companies, are still struggling with those kind of numbers.
Sure.
So, what would you say is the overarching strategy that really helped to get to that number that you had to embody as a CMO?
Oh, yeah. So first of all, let me just give more clarity on who we call users and who we call creators. So we have like over 1 million users. These are people that are actually paying to buy digital products from our creators. And right now we have like over 300,000 creators in over 15 African countries right now. So just to give that clarity. So yes, I mean, I think the first and most important thing is having a product that works. And I shout this and I say this every time on Twitter, on Instagram, on LinkedIn, and I pray people finally listen to me. But having a product that works is will actually help you drive your growth. So to
Mhm.
give a little bit of more context, Seller is one product that works. Before I actually started working at Seller, I came in as a growth and marketing manager before I then was promoted to CMO. I was a creator, right? I was selling digital products. I have clients in US, UK. And one challenge that I used to have before Seller came into the picture was there was no platform to host my digital products, my online courses, and my ebook. For Africans and in Africa, I mean, there are platforms like Teachable, Kajabi, but these guys are in the States, in the US and UK, and one, it's very difficult for Nigerians to accept payments on the platforms because of the whole PayPal wahala, Stripe wahala, and everything. And just right now, Mercury has banned Nigerians from actually having a bank account with them.
Crazy news.
It's very crazy. So it was like very difficult for me to find a platform to host and sell my digital products. Then I discovered Seller. And the first time I used Seller was to receive a payment from my clients in USA, and it worked. literally something I've been struggling with for like a very long time. Worked with Seller, and when I worked, I went to WhatsApp, I went to Instagram, I went to Twitter. I was talking about Seller. I was like, oh my god, this product is a lifesaver, and I realized that I wasn't just the only one. Every other person you were talking about Seller as well. So having a product that works will actually make people talk about you. So is a product worth talking about.
Hmm.
And Seller has like just amazing features in the products that, for instance, if my digital product is 20,000 naira and I send it to my product link to a client in, let's say, USA, it's going to show in their own currency. So all of these little things that have been embedded into the product just
Yeah.
makes people want to use the product and also talk about the product, because everyone wants to use that product that everyone is talking about, right? And
Yeah.
that was actually what even gave us our first set of like lots of users. I mean, during the pandemic, Seller was like the thing. Every people wanted to find different ways to make money from working from home and stuff like that. So Seller
Yeah.
became that product. Then Trisha Bees spoke about us because she used that product and it works. And she was like, "Oh my days, this product is amazing." And she went to Instagram and spoke about Seller, and since then it's just been an amazing journey so far.
Wow. Yeah, so it really makes sense because first of all, you have to have something that people can key into, can buy into, that
Exactly.
would literally, it was a life transforming product for a lot of the people that use that platform to sell digital products. So yeah, I
Yeah.
understand perfectly. Like it makes complete sense that first of all, think of the product. So it's, your product's even what shouting on the rooftop about. And I really
Exactly.
like that you were a believer initially, like you believed in it, you used the product yourself and you believed in it,
Yeah.
and everybody needs to hear about this, which is amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just to bring this to relate to our audience. So we have a community of small business owners that have a very limited marketing budget,
Hmm.
especially with the way the naira to the dollar is right now. Using naira to advertise in a way that your naira is converted into USD for Instagram ads, for Google ads, etc., is incredibly difficult for most businesses these days. So
Hmm.
what would you say in your experience as a CMO and also as a founder and also as you've been an entrepreneur, you are an
Yeah.
entrepreneur because you sold digital products and you still have your startup as well. What
Yeah.
would you say is a couple of effective strategies that are budget friendly ways for
Hmm.
startups to or businesses generally to acquire their first few customers
Yeah.
in kind of market, in an African market that is somewhat difficult to sell to people?
Hmm. Yeah. Great question. First of all, just like I said, the first thing I said, have a product or service that works.
Yeah.
That's the first and most important thing. Like a service that people really, really want. One thing that most people do is that they don't do their research before they start selling,
Hmm.
right? Before they start building that business, they don't do their research. They don't do like a market research to understand what people want, what the customers want, their target audience, and all of these things. So do your research first of all. Get to even before you start anything, do your research. Secondly, use the internet in your favor. Content. One thing people don't realize is that on the internet, if you really want to be successful over there, is actually putting out amazing, amazing content. So content is something that will actually help you, grow really fast and expose your brand to like new set of people. And when
Hmm.
I say content, I'm talking about Instagram, I'm talking about TikTok, I'm talking about Twitter, I'm talking about all of these platforms that enables you to like create and execute content. So if you are going on TikTok to maybe talk about your products or services, how can you create a content in a way that captures people's attention? See, in marketing, the most important thing is attention. If you've captured the attention of your target audience, you've won the game, right? So how can you capture attention? And this is even something that you're doing. You're capturing attention via webinars, via having all of these conversations with business owners. So when I talk about it on my social media, my people are going to see it and want to check out your business as well, which also leads like potential customers. And that's something that Seller does as well, right, as a business. So we have all of these webinars, creator summits, IG live, Twitter space conversation. It's not because we don't have time to do other things. It's because we know what we are doing. If we're having a Twitter space conversation or a webinar on IG live with someone like Trisha Bees or Philadelphia or Steve Harris, they will obviously post it on their social media channels. Then when they mention Seller, their followers will check us out and want to learn more about what Seller is doing. So all of these are like very cost-effective ways. It's just you sending your pitch to people and saying, "Oh, hey, I'd love to have you come on this conversation and talk about X, Y, Z." That's one. Two, you have to be very creative with your content. There's this musician I love so much. His name is Black Bones. I don't know if people know Black Bones, but the reason why I love Black Bones is because of how he markets his music. He is very smart with that. Like he
Yes.
uses
He gets
content.
very creative with his strategies. With
Exactly.
his,
Creative
yes.
strategies to like promote and market what you do. Content,
Yes.
capturing attention. I made a post on my Instagram and Twitter. I was holding a banner saying hire marketing talents from Blur. Like it was literally on the
I
road,
saw that.
holding something like that. I posted it on Twitter and lots of people started retweeting. These are unconventional ways to actually capture people's attention. You have the internet, you have data on your phone, you have Twitter, all of these platforms are free. So the question is, how can you start creating content on these platforms to capture the attention of your target audience and bring that your target audience into your business? So, I mean, we all know the AIDA formula in marketing, the attention, desire, attention, interest, desire, and action, right? So
Action.
you,
Yes.
again, you need to use content to capture attention and also partnerships, right? Which I believe is one of the things I will talk about in this conversation. People sleep on partnerships. At Selar, partnerships is very like we are so big on partnerships. We've had partnerships with Money Africa, Sendpost, Florida Wave, Ingressive for Good. Just
Mm.
lots of amazing platforms, and it's very strategic. Yes, they will come and buy into our audience. We are also buying into their audience as well. We recently had a partnership with Rise Vest, which was one of our best partnerships this year. Rise Vest reached out to us and said, "Oh, wow, like we love the numbers we're getting from you guys." And from our end as well, the numbers that we're getting from them was also good. We just finished a partnership with PiggyVest, which is still ongoing, right? So you see how we just leverage partnerships. All these things are free. Sending the pitch is
Yeah.
free. So these are like some cost-effective ways that you can use to drive growth for your business.
Amazing, very interesting. In fact, you've made a point that I myself need to consider, which is partnerships. A lot of people always just us for partnerships, but sometimes we struggle to find the win-win. In
Yeah,
terms of the partner, we struggle to find how both parties benefit. If it's only one side benefiting, the partnership might not be worth pursuing.
sure.
But yeah, very strong point on the partnership. I really love that. So my next question is, in your experience, what are the most promising digital marketing channels for startups today? I mean, you mentioned a lot about digital and how to maximize the internet to market your business and get creative as well.
Yeah.
So in your experience, what are the most promising digital platforms that startups in Africa today can use, and how can they prioritize their efforts to have maximum reach and reach as many people as possible?
That's a very tricky question. Let me
I
tell you
know.
why. Let me tell you why. When it comes to the most profitable digital marketing platform or like growth channels, I can't say it's A or it's B or it's C because businesses are different, right? So, for instance, right now, one of our like two of our profitable channels, Instagram, right? Because creators love that platform so much. Google SEO, because creators go on Google to search for things a lot. And number three, TikTok. Creators love TikTok so much. So these are like some of our very profitable channels, right? And that's for Seller. For PiggyVest, it might be different.
Yes.
Seller is not so big on Twitter as the way that we're big on Instagram. Of course, we create content on Twitter, but we know our primary growth channel, which is most likely Instagram, which is not most likely, which is Instagram, right? PiggyVest, they are so big on Twitter. Oh my days. PiggyVest and Twitter, they're like five answers. Because that's where their people are. Like
Yeah.
literally, most creators don't even like Twitter. I'll be very honest with you. They just want to shoot videos on Instagram and they don't want to write anything. So just understanding number one, your customers. That's the most important thing. Understanding your customers, understanding your target audience. When you understand this, like your customers and target audience, then you will know where these guys are located,
Yeah.
right? So you know, okay, are my customers located on Google? Then I need to start creating SEO based articles. I need to start running Google ads, YouTube ads, and all of these things. And my customers on Instagram, if they are, that means I have to start like go on Instagram and start creating content for my customers, speaking language that they can relate to, doing things that they can relate to. Seller, most creators in Africa right now are Gen Zs, like Gen Zs and millennials, like most creators, Gen Zs and millennials. And Gen Zs and millennials love very, interesting kind of content compared to the baby boomers, right? So we tend to create those kind of content for our target audience that will help them understand our product. So we might want to talk about a product feature. we wouldn't, our language wouldn't be the language that will fit into baby boomers. We are speaking to Gen Zs, we are speaking to millennials, so we need to, channel our language in a way that they will understand. So this is something that people need to learn how to do. One, knowing your customers and knowing where they're located. When you do so, then have events and activities that will help you capture the attention of your target audience. But
Hmm.
saying which is the most profitable, that will be very difficult
Very
because
difficult.
again, all channels are profitable. It just depends on if your customers are there.
Yes. Absolutely makes perfect sense because you literally had to choose like you said, the right audience, the right
Mhm.
it has to be the right product as well for the channel. Um if you notice, this is a very random example, but it's a very popular type
Mhm.
of business. People that sell hair extensions, they're very
Yeah,
popular on Twitter, but on Instagram, on TikTok, they reign supreme.
yeah,
Same for, I feel like businesses that have to do with a lot of speaking or intellectual, God forgive me, but it doesn't really do well on Twitter.
yeah.
We do well on LinkedIn and Instagram, etc., and surprisingly TikTok. But yeah, you're on the money. You're spot on with the insights, and I really, really appreciate these insights you're sharing with us. They are literally worth $1 million. So my next question is about leveraging insights, essentially. So, how important is it for startups or businesses, growing businesses generally, to understand the local like market nuances in Africa, and how can they leverage these insights to enhance their customer acquisition strategies?
So that's great. Thank thank God that you brought up this question because this is something that I need lots of African business owners, African startup founders to learn. One
Hmm.
thing I need us to learn is that the strategies that works in the Western world is not going to work in Africa, right?
Hmm.
The marketing strategies, all the books that you're reading about Facebook and Instagram and Tesla, there are different policies in that market. These guys, they can create a subscription product and people will literally use their credit card to pay for this product. How many people have credit cards in Nigeria? That's a very valid question. How many people know about credit cards?
How many platforms offer credit cards?
Exactly. Exactly. So you really need to learn and like you need to learn the nuance of the place you're operating from. So for instance, we are increasing our presence in Kenya right now. So we are on like a East African expansion. So we are speaking to Kenyans, to Rwandans and all. And the strategies that worked in Nigeria, they are actually not working in the Kenyan market at all. Because
Interesting. This is
yes,
very
because
interesting to me because
like
we're actually doing an East African push very soon at Halisi. So thank you for this insight.
exactly because like these are like different cultures. We like they have different problems. They have
Hmm.
the problems people are going through in Nigeria is not the same problems people are going through in Rwanda, East Africa. I mean, I live in Rwanda, right? And they have 24/7 power supply over here. That's not same thing in Nigeria.
Of
So
course not.
like different problems, different motivations. So you really need to understand like the market. You need to do your market research. I spent 3 months this year in Kenya from January to March. I was in Kenya just speaking to creators, understanding the market before we decided to actually start that engagement there. And even while we are doing these things, we have partners in Kenya that we're working with. We have creators in Kenya that we're working with. So while you're trying to understand the market, it's also great for you to get a local in that market. If let's say one of these organizations, for instance, Tesla, want to expand to Africa, right, and they want their headquarters to be in South Africa, they will get someone that understands the African markets. They will not get a China to come and be speaking to Africans.
Of course.
Exactly. And same thing in China. If they want to expand to like the China market, they'll not get an African to like, go and do that job over there. So you really need to also work with the locals as well and use the internet in your favor. See trends. Do your research, go to use SEMrush, use Google keywords research, and just Google Analytics and all of these platforms, and just try to, it's okay, yes, I am for instance, let's say your business, you own a consulting business and you offer some specific services to your, clients, and you say you want to expand to Kenya. One of the most important thing, if I was the one in people's shoes, I will actually go to Google and see the people that are searching for, oh, how to create a business plan, how to do this. I need to see the, volume of the keyword search to say,
Yeah.
okay, is this something that, like, is this a problem that people have? Because if your problem is deep, you go and look for the solution on Google.
Oh,
Right? So
yes, I
it
agree.
is a problem that people have. One other thing that I will do as well is, right, I will now look at my competitors in that market. So that's one of the best things that you can do. Like, it's the most easiest thing. Look at your competitors, see how they are marketing, look at the channels that they're using, see the language that they are speaking, study their
Hmm.
product and their services, look for loopholes and see how you can use your own products to solve those problems their customers are having using their products.
Hmm.
Then start, so everything that, so all the computer research that you've done on your competitors, use the strategy and just implement it and make it better. That's one of like the most easiest ways. So yes, these are some of the things that people can do when it comes to,
Entering
yeah,
new markets, essentially,
entering new markets. Yeah.
or going across Africa. Because you see a lot of startups and businesses that
Mm-hmm.
say they are in Africa. And I feel like, especially for Nigerian businesses, they do this a lot. Oh, why the Africans, something. And I'm like, if you're not in Africa, if you're not in Southern Africa, if you're not in, all the parts of Africa,
Mm-hmm.
then you're not really across Africa. But you guys have done it.
Yeah.
So it was really great to, learn that insight as well. So
Yeah.
my next question has to do with scaling. Now, it's very easy to start. There's a lot of there's something they call a 0 to 1 founder, like
Mm-hmm.
people that can start the business and get it to, just be making recurring revenue. But then how does one really scale in this market?
Mm-hmm.
What are the challenges that startups will face when they are scaling their customer base across Africa? And then
Mm-hmm.
how do they overcome these challenges? Because the challenges will come up. It comes up for every type of, not even just startups, every type of
Mm-hmm.
business, encounters challenges when they want to really scale. Because it's
Mm-hmm.
the easy thing, which is, okay, we have the MVP, the business is working, while improving our products, day by day, and we're having some customers, which is great. We can all just manage this and be okay, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then if you're really ambitious, you want to scale, like we want to scale across the world. I mean, we're already doing some of that. We have clients in the US and the UK, but we really want to scale across Africa, which is one of the reasons why I'm very excited about this conversation. So, what are the common challenges that startups or businesses generally would face when scaling across Africa? And how can they overcome these challenges when it comes to increasing their customer base?
Okay, that's a very good question. One of the most important things that you need to consider before you start scaling is, are you ready to scale? That's a very important question because most people scale when they've not built the capacity to scale. So, for instance, speaking from a product-led organization, how well are you doing with your customer support, right? How many people do you have on your support team? So, if you're saying you're serving, let's say, 500,000 Nigerians right now, and you want to scale to South Africa, do you have the capacity to handle customers when they actually come in? Are your infrastructures ready? Like your Google Cloud, is it like sorted out, and your hosting and everything, is everything? So you need to look at your technology, your infrastructure, your manpower. Like, these are like the most basic things. Second thing that you also need to consider is the new market that you're trying to scale into. What are the policies in that market, right? What licenses do I need to get in that market? For instance, getting a fintech license in Nigeria is one of the most difficult things that you will ever experience in your life.
Can you
Right?
imagine?
Exactly. But for other markets, it's not as difficult as it is in Nigeria, right? So you need to understand, okay, do I need to get a license in this market, and or do I need to partner with someone to help me get a license? And that's one thing most fintech organizations are doing, partnerships to leverage on other people's infrastructure so that they don't have to pay the whole license fee, which is very smart. So you need to look at the licensing, you need to look at the policies in our market. What are the business policies? How is it going to support my business? Are there things that I should be doing in this market? So all of this, understanding all of these things are very important. And again, scaling, you don't have to say that you want to scale into a new market and actively start engaging a market. You
Mm,
can also just acquire another business. We can use an example of Stripe and PayPal. Stripe wanted to increase their presence in Africa, and you're like, okay, instead of us going through the whole stress of doing that thing, let's just acquire another organization. So they acquired Paystack, which has literally enabled them expand to the African markets and also help Africans to also expand to that market. Win-win for everyone. Then you can also consider, okay, before I start scaling into a new country, have I exhausted all the options I have in my country? right? Okay, if I have clients in Lagos right now, how many clients can I have in Abuja? How many clients can I have in Port Harcourt? How many clients can I have in Delta? Right? So you need to consider all of these things as well. Then when it comes from a product-led organization, you also need to start thinking about features, right? Are there new features that I need to create for this new market? I also need to understand the language of the market. One challenge that we had was it 2 years ago, we had an engagement. One mistake that we did, we had an engagement with a francophone organization. It was a partnership, right? I really love the organization. I love the founder. Amazing, amazing people. But one mistake that we made was the whole goal of the partnership was to get more francophone Africans to come and to start using Selar. But we
Hmm.
didn't change, like we didn't implement a language translation on our software. That was a very silly mistake,
But
right?
it
So
happens. It happens.
exactly. So when these guys came on our platform to want to sign up, they don't understand English. They speak French. We're like, okay, this is something that we need to consider. So you also need to consider the language of the markets that you're trying to scale into. Kenyan is an English speaking country. So again, it helps us. Rwanda, they speak more French over here. So we need to start considering all of these things. Yeah, exactly. So you see, so
Interesting. I
like,
didn't. I thought Rwanda was an English speaking
oh
country.
no, oh no. They speak French and Kinyarwanda. English is like the third language.
Interesting.
Exactly. So these are things that you need to consider, and these are things that you need to implement when you want to start scaling. Um, when you want to start, expanding, scaling, and all of these things. But again, the most important thing is, do you have the infrastructure to accommodate the, weight that you're looking for? Is your product actually ready? You can also, scale a little bit. Don't scale too fast.
Hmm.
Don't scale too fast. Scale a little bit. See the interaction you're getting with our market. See the feedback that the market is giving to you. Use it, implement it on your product, and keep scaling gradually. Then when you've built a very solid, foolproof product, then you can go all out. And when I say go all out, like literally all angle, offline marketing, online marketing, billboards, partnership, SEO, this, that, every single thing, events. I mean, I'm saying this because that's what Salah is doing right now for the
Yeah.
francophone market. PRO, working with other, creators in that market, influencers, all of these things. So yes, these are like some of the things that you need to consider when you are thinking about scaling.
Scaling. Amazing. Amazing. So I guess, one has to adopt and adapt for every market, and
Mm-hmm.
also not look at, not trying to start from zero, but rather
Exactly.
starting with experience or using other people's experience or leverage acquiring another company. I think in the news recently, I think I read today that RiseVest has acquired a company in another
They are
market.
looking to acquire an organization in Kenya.
I think it's been done already. I saw it. I saw
Really?
it. Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah, exactly. Amazing. It's so interesting to see that, the way these things are going across
Yeah.
Africa. Yeah, it's really inspiring.
Yeah. So instead
Um,
of Rise Vest to actually start getting all the license and everything in the
I
Kenyan
can
market,
imagine the
just
stress,
makes things easier for
especially,
them.
with a green passport, the extra the extra scrutiny that comes with it. So this is very insightful,
Yeah.
just thinking of different ways to enter other markets, and also being king of your market as well is very important. I've had
Yeah.
there was a client I have, she's a fashion client to be fair, but there's a client I had, Ola Slim. She runs a company called Ola's Grace,
Mhm.
and she was giving advice to another founder or fashion entrepreneur as well. And the founder wanted to expand to the UK. And she asked the founder that, are you the king of the Nigerian market? And the founder was like, oh no, we're still trying to. She was like, until you conquer the Nigerian market before you start thinking of another
Mhm.
market. Because Ola's Grace was able to do well in Nigeria and also do well in Dubai. Now they're
Mhm.
expanding to the UK. So she was like, you have to conquer the market that you're in first before you start thinking of another market.
Exactly. Don't
Yeah,
rush it.
exactly. So what you're saying is spot on. I feel like all great leaders or all insightful founders and entrepreneurs always have similar advice. You feel
Mhm.
like you're hearing the same thing over and over again, but it's because it is good advice.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you for that.
My pleasure.
So my next question is about the market environment.
Yeah.
Um, our market environment in Africa, for lack of more colorful words, is dynamic.
Mhm.
It's an interesting market, and sometimes changes happen so fast, or government policies can come out and just change your landscape so quickly that it would affect your business without you even realizing it. For example, I don't know if you saw, but Nigerian government is trying to fine Meta like millions of dollars. And I'm like, this must not affect my Instagram ad. Whatever they are doing, it must not affect my people. I would not find it funny. So things like this, it makes our market very interesting as
Yeah,
Nigerians and Africans generally. So how
yeah,
do startups adapt their marketing strategies to stay relevant and also to respond to changing trends across Africa?
yeah. There is a maxim in internet marketing that says, "Don't build your house on a rented land."
Hmm.
Um, and let me explain. Don't build a house on a rented land, meaning while you're having all of these social media platforms, you have a community there, you have an audience there. The government can wake up tomorrow and ban Twitter again, or ban Instagram, or ask Facebook and Meta to pack their bag and leave Nigeria. Does that mean that all of the traction I've gotten from that audience and your ads and everything, like your whole business will just disappear?
Yeah,
Literally. So the smart thing for you to do is to build your email list,
of course.
right? That's a smart thing for you to do. Build your email list, right? Build your email list, build your customer base outside of social media. Don't just use social media alone to do everything that you want to do. That's one. Two, um, start thinking of ways that you can actually offer the same value services, the same product services, the same offers to a new market.
Hmm.
Don't just focus on one market alone. So here's what I mean. For instance, if you own um, so Seller, for instance. So if we have Seller right now, and people in Nigeria, they can actually use Seller to sell digital products. People in Lagos, Abuja, Ibadan, and all of these other platforms. That means people in Kenya can also use Seller to do that as well. That
Yeah.
means people in UK can also do that as well. Because again, yes, I know I get the whole point of just like what we said previously. It can be a little bit of a paradox, saying that yes, you need to dominate one market at a time, but you also need to learn how to go to a market that favors you.
Hmm.
Right? Exactly. You need to learn how to go to a market that favors you. If the US market favors you more, then maybe you should start considering attracting clients from that market. If the UK market favors you more, then maybe you should start considering attracting clients from that market. If you own let's say you own a farm and you process food stuff and you distribute to supermarkets in Nigeria, why can't you start distributing across Africa? Why can't you start just distributing in the UK, in the US, and all of these other countries as well? So going to a market that favors you is one of the best things that you can do, and also build a business that is not location dependent.
Hmm.
That's something that you need to learn. So even
Yes.
if your business, you have a location in Lagos and everything, use the internet. I know some founders. There's this Natural Hair Rocks, right? It's an organization that sells wigs. It's a Nigerian-based organization. The founder is a Nigerian, but her customers, made 70% of our customers are in the US.
Yes.
So they process stuff and distribute over to the US. So go to a market that favors you, and also you should pray. You should pray because Nigeria can happen to anybody. I know.
Oh my God. In
Nigeria
all your
can
strategies
happen.
as a Nigerian founder, you have to pray.
You have to pray. The government can wake up tomorrow and say, "Oh, ABC." Like for instance, look at the cost of fuel in Nigeria, petrol. It's very ridiculous. I was in Nigeria recently. Cost of living in Nigeria, Port Harcourt, it's so high, right? It's so high. So that means the buying power in that economy won't be great. That's one
Yes.
other thing you need to understand. That means you need to start building businesses that will make it easy for people to buy. One thing
Yes.
that we're trying to solve right now at Seller is churn. We are trying to get back old customers to come back to use our products. And because we have like a subscription based platform, which is actually very understandable, Nigerians don't like paying for things recurring payment. They just want to pay one time. As I want to use,
And
I
move
pay for
on.
it and leave. When we started Blurb was a platform that people could take online courses, marketing-based courses on a subscription fee, $10 per month, very cheap, literally. But no, Nigerians don't like that.
You don't like
Nigerians
it.
said no, we don't want to. We just want to pay one off, so your business model has to support the economy. The business model that is working in US, it's not going to work in
Mm-mm.
Nigeria, right? And also, you need to understand how Nigerians buy. You need to understand. That's why I love platforms like Chowdeck. Chowdeck speaks the language of the
Of
people.
Nigeria. It's
Chicken
interesting.
Republic, they just started out right now. They are speaking the language of the people. So if you can't speak the language of the people, then the people won't want to. The people will understand what
You
you're
won't
saying.
buy
So
into what you're selling.
exactly,
Yes,
exactly.
you're 100% right. Because I'll share an experience with you. When we present our services to Nigerian founders, some founders can take a year to get back to us. Some
Mm-hmm.
founders can, I've had, sales calls with founders, and on the call they are making the payment, and that's fine. But with Nigerian founders generally, it's always a very difficult turnaround. We have to follow up and follow up and follow up. That's fine. It's the nature of the market. The times that I have dealt with founders from other regions, the US, the UK, once they buy in, that's it. They just want to know how to make payment. Just send me payment details, no questions, nothing further. You
Mm-hmm.
show me you can do this work, and that's it. But with Nigerian founders, I don't want to get into it. I don't want to get into it. So yeah, I want to ask about Blurb.
Yeah.
So how did the idea come to life? I've gone through your social media. I've seen that you're creating content around how non-technical people can get work in tech, and
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't have to be everybody doesn't have to, of which you know how to code, which is
Yeah.
quite ironic. So what's the idea about, and how did you go about starting it alongside your, I honestly respect people that have a business aside a job. It's I cannot imagine
Yeah.
how hard it is. So
Yeah.
just
It's
walk us
hard.
through the thought process and how you did the marketing for Blurper as well.
It's hard. So Blurb, like I said previously, Blurb started as a platform where people could take courses, marketing-based courses. I'm coming from the digital product industry. That's something that I understand very, very well, and I love marketing as well. And the idea was for people, you can't learn so much about marketing in Africa from taking courses made by people in the US and all of these other platforms. So I'm like, okay, why don't we have a platform where Africans can learn? The passion was great. The my drive was great, but the market was not ready for something like that. The market was like, nah, we don't need this, which is understandable. I'm like, okay, so we started 2 years ago, right? We started building Blob 2 years ago, and the journey was amazing. The first 6 months we didn't make a lot of money. Then February of last year, a friend of mine reached out to me. He was like, "Hey Milton, what's up? If people take courses from you, that means you're going to have talents, right? You're going to have people that marketers that are in your community that we can hire from." I said, "Yes, actually we do." Like, okay, we're looking for a growth marketer to come work with a real estate company. How much are you going to charge us for this? I'm like, interesting. I didn't know how much people were charging then. So I was like, okay, I just called like a very fair price. He paid. I was like, this is good. There is actually money here. Then Money Africa reached out to us for the same thing. I wasn't doing any marketing. Money Africa reached out to us for the same thing. I was like, okay, this is signaling. Then I spoke to my team. I was like, see, in the space of 1 month, this is the amount of money that we've made as a company by just offering these services. In 8 months that we've been building this other part of the company, this is how much we've made. It's
Wow.
just smart for us to go this way. So we went there, we were like, okay, let's start with connecting marketing talents to
Hmm.
businesses that want to hire marketing talents. And the journey since last year to now has been amazing.
Okay.
We did everything very manual. Things were so manual. Till now, till date, we've hired for brands like ProPay, Money Africa, Nigenius, Expats, Sharp Sharp, Land Republic, Money Africa, a lot of like brands, even in Nigeria, Kenya, Canada, UK, right? And even Rwanda as well, a lot of organizations. So we spent 1 year running a traditional agency, making things like it was so manual, but we made a lot of money. We're like, okay, do you know what? We want to scale because we did the math. We have clients paying us from US and UK to get talents in Africa, and they actually pay more. So they can be hiring a social media manager, right? And another brand in Nigeria is hiring a social media manager. So these guys can be paying the social media manager $500. Nigerians might be paying the social media 150, 100,000 naira, which is understandable. Same job description, same deliverable, same everything, but different pay because of the economy.
Yeah.
And since these guys are paying the social media manager $500, that means we have the potential to make more money from this exact client. So we're like, okay, so if we want to scale to the international market, how are we going to do it? Let's use tech. So that's why we built our product. And right now, things are just automated. And we went a step further. Like, how can we make more money as a business and as an organization? We've found success in marketing. That means people want different no-code talents, different non-technical talents, right?
Yeah.
We have organizations like, Talent QL. We have, these guys are helping people with engineers and all,
Yes.
but we
Yes.
don't have that platform for non-technical talent. So, and when we launched Blob and went the whole non-technical route, we started getting requests for product designers, for HR managers, for accountants, and we have all of these people in our talent pool. So, in like this month, I think this is the second month of launching. We've made like so much, a lot of revenue from
Wow.
the first couple of months of the year, just this month. So we built foundation with marketing talents, and we want to use that same foundation that we built for other non-technical fields, and also try to, get Africans job from the international market. So we want
Market.
to bring more
Yes.
international jobs from UK, US, and Canada down to Africa. And our goal in 2025 is to connect over 10,000 youths in Africa to job opportunities.
Amazing. Wow. That's a big goal.
It is.
I think you're very best with that. But yeah, that's amazing. Amazing. I love how the product evolved and
Yeah,
it's just more than what it was, because your how like your customer base just said, you know what, we know you, this is what you do, you're good at what you do, but this is what we want from you. That's amazing. I love
exactly.
stories like that.
Exactly. And we didn't
Oh,
just wake up to start building a product.
yes, it happens a lot of times. People build things and then they shut down because they didn't have customers. And I'm like,
Yeah,
what were you
we
doing
tested our
when you
business
said
model first. It was working. Now let's use tech to scale the business model.
amazing? Amazing. Well done. It looks amazing. I mean, when I looked at it, I was like, oh, this is great work. I don't
Yeah,
know how you
thank you.
find the time. So yeah, I'm gonna take you back a little bit to partnerships.
Yeah.
Um when you're going about your collaborations and partnerships, how can collaborations and partnerships with local businesses or local influencers help you gain traction? I just want us to double down on that and acquire more customers in Africa.
Hmm.
From your experience, how did that go? Because I know you mentioned, in passing that okay, you worked with Trisha Bees and you worked with or not necessarily worked. I think she just gave a
Yeah.
testimonial without even you prompting her to.
Yeah.
Um, and from what you're saying, you've done some partnerships with other businesses. You mentioned RiseVest, Money Africa, and all. So when it comes to partnering with businesses and with influencers, what would you say is the right strategy to make the best out of it? Because I'm asking this question because a lot of times you see people say, oh, they pay this influencer X amount and they got nothing out of it. Or you see people do a partnership and you as a marketing person, you're looking at the partnership and you're like, why? Like this it doesn't make any sense. I don't want to name any names, but I'm sure some of your names are coming to your
Yeah.
head. So how can you make use of collaborations and partnerships with
Hmm.
businesses and with influencers, to
Hmm.
maximize that for you to get traction with for your
Hmm.
business?
Great. So let me start with influencer marketing first. One mistake people make with influencer marketing, they think that it's the amount of followers that that influencer have. Like it's not the amount of followers. It's never the amount of followers.
Of
It's
course.
the community. Go for influencers that like they have a committed community. Like they have like a cult following them, not a lot of followers. I mean, not what people call cults, but just people dedicated
That's a
to their
cult
brand.
following.
Exactly, people dedicated to their brand, right? And also, is there like an influencer organization fit? That's something people need to consider. I can't. So, for instance, Selar, we can't be saying that we are a creator-focused platform, and we want to use someone like, um, what's the name of this doctor, Apricot doctor, for an influencer marketing campaign. There is no
There's no correlation.
There is no correlation at all. And that's one thing most people do, most brands do. Oh, yes, Apoko Doctor, he has a lot of followers. Josh Too Funny has a lot of followers. Okay, what is the current, like, what, how exactly? How exactly? There's no fit. So you need to work with influencers that are in line with your product. If you're building a creator focused product, then work with influencers that are creators. Ideally, work with influencers like, King, social media Oga, all of these people, these are the kind of influencers that seller will work with. If,
Yes,
for instance, if you have a shoe brand or if you have a clothing line, you don't want to go and work with Hilda Bashi that is talking about food,
of
right?
course.
So you need to work with someone that is in line with exactly what you're doing. So that's for influencer marketing. And also, when it comes to influencer marketing, it's not just to post, right? You need to track. That's one thing lots of people don't do. You need to track. You need to use coupon codes. You need to use bit.ly links, UTM links to track every single thing that you're doing. And also,
Mm.
again, have a product that works. Don't get people to know about your product and eventually the product is not going to work. People will drop off. People will churn.
Yeah,
So actually have a product that works. Then when it comes to partnerships with brands, same thing again. There needs to be that synergy, right? So with
yes,
our most recent partnership with Piggyverse, we're thinking, okay, what exactly can seller do with Piggyverse? We're like, why don't we have an ebook that teaches creators how to manage their finances? So in the ebook, you're going to find there are two parts of the ebook. The first part is how to make sales for your digital products, how to make money from digital products. The second part is how to manage the sales and money that you've made and start saving and start investing. So Seller handled the first part. Piggyvest handled the second part. So when people make sales on Seller, they go save on Piggyvest. Now you're getting the rationale. You're seeing
yes,
how like it actually works. So there needs to be that synergy, right? For instance, apart the partnership that we have with Ingressive for Good, Ingressive for Good, they teach people tech skills and all of these things. Okay, you've learned, you now have a job. Great. Why don't you start creating digital products from all of these things that you've learned as well?
yeah,
Right. We also executed an ebook with different creators. We brought creators together to write an ebook. It's titled The Ultimate Digital Product Manual, right? And these creators, they gave chapters from email marketing down to this, down to that. One thing that we did is everyone that got the ebook, the creators also have access to that email list as well. So you see how it's a win-win for everybody. Even
mm.
for Piggyvest as well, is a win-win. For RiseVest sponsored one of our creator stories at Seller. Win-win. Rice, they are very good with content. They're amazing with content. Yes, creators, they've made sales for their digital products. I'm just
Yeah,
going back a bit. They've made sales. Okay, it's time to invest. Make sales
yes,
on Seller, invest on RiceVest.
yeah,
RiceVest, they are great with their content on social media. We also did a social media content collaboration with them. We're like, okay, how can we take this a notch further? Let's do a webinar. So we did a webinar on how creators can invest their money smartly. We had lots of sign-ups for the webinar. Lots of people that signed up for the webinar also signed up on Seller. They also signed up on RiceFest as well. So now you see how there is.
yes.
We did backlinking from both parties. We wrote an SEO article, gave RiceVest the backlink. RiceVest did the same, gave us a backlink as well. So you see how there's just a very great synergy. So before you partner with anyone, right? Before you partner with any organization, be it influencer, be it another organization, is there a synergy between both brands? Is there that fit? You need to find that middle ground. Don't just say, oh, because we have a million users, we want to partner with XYZ person. No, it doesn't work that way. Right. So you need to just find ways to, for instance, a partnership with St. Paul's that we have with St. Paul's. St. Paul's, they need creators to use their platform for email marketing. Seller
Oh,
has creators. So how can we have this synergy together? So that's
honestly,
what
a
we
very
did.
obvious collaboration.
Exactly. We gave them an integration on our platform. We got something from them as well. Everyone goes home happy.
Amazing, amazing. You really went deep on this partnership thing, and I feel like it's a strategy that's been really effective, which is why you're making sure that you drive that point home to us that you definitely have to get into partnership. So yeah, thank you for that. So now the company has gotten users, the company has gotten paying customers, and you're making money and all of that. You mentioned churn, which is a problem that a lot of startups always have. Like you said, Nigerians are not really the subscription type of people.
Mm-hmm.
They want to buy once and they want to forget about,
Mm-hmm.
just paying money more than once, right? So, what strategies would you find most effective in ensuring long term customer retention? Like, how do you keep your customers, and how do you keep your growth steady? How do you make sure you're on an upward trajectory
Mhm.
when you're building, when you're running your startup, or when you're running your business? Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to talk about like from different angles. Let me talk from the product angle. I've been saying this since we started this conversation. Have a product that works. If you're saying that people can use your product to take pictures, make sure that when they are coming to use your product, they can take pictures. That's the most important thing. So when you have that product that works, you've solved at least 50% of your problem. Second thing is speak to the right people. One mistake people make is, especially in marketing, right now, this is from the marketing end, right? Marketing also actually affects churn. And now let me tell you how. So people, they'll be marketing to the wrong people. These wrong people, they will sign up on the product, use the product and find out that, oh, this product is actually not for me. Then they will drop off. You think the issue is from the product. It's actually from marketing. So in your marketing, make sure that you've built the right product for the right audience and you're speaking to the right audience about the product. Right. Now let's go back to the product. You need to have something that sticks. That's
Hmm.
one thing people, yes, you need to have something that sticks. So, for instance, let me take an example. Picky Vest. Picky Vest is a product that sticks. Like it does the job. I want to save for long term stuff. I want to have a savings goal. Picky Vest, it works perfectly well. If I want to invest in foreign currencies and in foreign real estate and stuff like that, Rice Vest does the job. It sticks. You're seeing how much of a need that is. If I want to sell digital products and I need to receive payment from my international customers, Seller, it sticks. It does the job for you excellently well. No need for you to go and start thinking about PayPal or Stripe. Seller gives you all of those integration, receive payments, and you're happy. It
Yeah.
sticks. So you need to have a product that sticks to make sure that people will always come back to use your product. Another thing that you need to think about is the usability. How often will people need to use your product? You brush your teeth every single day. So is your product like a toothbrush that will actually help people solve a particular problem? So how often will you use your product? And so yeah, so that's from the product and marketing end of things. Now let's go to customer support. You need to solve customers' problem as quickly as you can. How fast is your resolution time?
Hmm.
Your resolution time has to be very, very fast, and you need to make sure that your customers are happy when you solve their problem. And that's one thing people don't that customers have options. Customers, they have options. If option A is not doing the job, they will dip to option B. It's business. Customers are not loyal.
Of
If you
course.
think customers are not loyal, people that are signed on Netflix, they're also signed on Amazon Prime and also Disney Plus. Customers love variety. So you need to make sure that you give customers so much value that they are asking for. Another thing that you also have to consider is creating other features that will also help customers come back. So when Seller started, the only thing that people could use Seller to do was ebooks. They were like, okay, creators don't just sell ebooks, they can also sell courses. We put
Yeah.
in the courses feature. Okay, creators have events, then we put in the tickets feature. Okay, creators can want to, build sales pages. We gave them sales page feature. Okay, we think creators, their audience will want to tip them and tell them thank you for the great work that they've been doing. We created show love, and now people can like it's
Mm.
just like buy me a coffee. People use show love to tip creators and stuff like that. We're like, okay, do you know what creators want to make more sales? How can we help them? We created the affiliate network. Now we have about 20,000 affiliates on the affiliate network that are picking products of creators to market it. So now you're seeing how you're giving customers like different things to always make them come back to using Seller. So how can you do that for your own organization? And also think of different ways that you can make money while
Hmm.
you're trying to make money from subscription based stuff. You should also think about how can you make money from volume, and with volume you need to have more like something that is free. For people to create ebooks on Seller, it's free, but we charge a transaction revenue for every sale that you make. We charge a transaction fee, and
Yeah.
that's one way that we make money. Show love, same thing, right? We charge a transaction fee for show love and all of this for our affiliate network. So you just have to think different ways. Okay, if I'm struggling with churn from this angle, then how can I create other things that will make customers to come back? Uh, One other thing I need to start doing is actually increasing your acquisition rates, the amount of customers that you acquire, so
Yes.
that when people are churning,
Yeah.
like it can be balanced.
Mm-hmm.
It can be
We have
balanced
to find
month to
balance. So
month.
if you let's say for example, what you need to stay afloat is probably 30 customers,
Hmm.
and 50 will mean that you are excellent. So you
Hmm.
aim to acquire 100. So
Exactly.
you land somewhere in the middle.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So your acquisition has to be top notch. So yeah, these are like different things that you should do, and also speak to customers, call customers to learn. Okay, why haven't you used our product for this amount of time, or why haven't you come back to use our service? How can we be more value to you?
Hmm.
If we give you a 10% discount, are you going to come back? If we put you on a loyalty program, are you going to get to use our product? Speaking to customers, giving them these different incentives to just come back to using your products. There's a place I get my skincare products. I have a loyalty card. So anytime I buy from them,
So
I get
they're
like
making sure
credits.
you come back one way or the other.
Exactly. Anytime I buy from them, I get credits from them. And eventually, if I get up to like, 100 credits, I can pick one product for free. I'm like, okay, let's go, let's do this. So these are like different ways I can just,
Yes, just
use to keep
different
customers
ways to
coming.
make your product sticky and to make sure customers come back to you.
Exactly.
Amazing,
Yeah.
amazing. Thank you so much, Milton, for your time. This was so insightful, even for me. I'm sure for everyone. I mean, I don't know if you can see the comments, but there's so many comments here from our YouTube fam. Thank you so much for the insights you've shared. Just to tie everything in, what are the final I would
Mm-hmm.
say quotes that you want to leave with us, or insights that you want from us, and also any shout out you want to give, shout out to Seller, shout out to Blurb. um Go for
Yeah.
it.
Final words. People judge a book by its cover.
Hmm.
So you need to the way you present your product is very important. The way you present your service is very important. This is important. So present what you do in a way that it's so good, people will want to check out what you're talking about.
Hmm.
So if people judge a book by its cover, make sure that your cover is so good that people are actually saying good things about your cover. So marketing and branding is very, very important. And also play like the long-term game, right? Play the long-term game, literally. Imagine how far you're going to go to if you're consistent for like the next 10 years. If Seller gave up in the first 2, 3 years, Seller won't be Seller right now. Honestly, the first year of building block, I wanted to give up, but I kept at it, and right now we're actually doing an amazing job, getting
Mhm.
customers from like almost all over the world. So you need to be consistent. Imagine how far you go if you're consistent at this for like the next 10 years. And shout out to Seller, obviously. Shout out to the team at Seller. Um, I think we have like one of like the most amazing team and culture in the whole Nigeria. I was very serious. Shout out to the team at Blurb and what we are building at Blurb. Shout out to you and also your organization. You guys are doing an amazing job. And please, for all of you watching this right now, if you've not used their service, I'm sure that you're sitting on a long thing. So check them out. Go to their social media, check them out. Click the link in bio, visit their website, call them, email them, and get to use the service that they have. And thanks to the viewers as well for watching. You can find me every on social media at Milton Tutu. It was my pleasure being here.
It was a pleasure having you. I really, really enjoyed this. Thank you so, so much. I will definitely stay in touch. So at Milton Tutu on all platforms, you can
All
find him
platforms.
there. And yeah, all the best with Seller, with Blurb. You're doing amazing.
My pleasure. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. All right.
Yeah, bye.
Bye.
Yeah.
All right, guys. It was great to have Milton here to share his marketing knowledge with us. An amazing way to restart our webinar series. We're going to be having more and more founders come on board to share their insights with us, and more industry experts, in the startup, small business, medium-sized enterprises spaces. Yeah. So just a brief recap of who we are and what we do at Halisi Consults. We're a business consulting company. We work with startups and small and medium-sized enterprises to get them ready for investments. So in terms of investor readiness, developing your business plans, your pitch decks, your financials, and also setting up your data room for you to be able to share that with investors, and also helping you to look for the right investors that can partner with you to fund your business to make it a success. And we also offer marketing services through our sister company, Halisi Agency. So if you want to speak to us, there's a link in bio. Just click the link, or the link in description. Just click the link, schedule a call with us. We'll walk you through, whatever process that you want your company, or whatever growth that you're aspiring to for your company, whether your company is new or existing, we're happy to work with you. Thank you so much for your time and have a great day ahead.